Hello, it is 11, almost 11:30. Sorry, this on September 6th, 2019. Sorry, this weather update is a little late, but had to get involved in taking some legal action against the Long Island Railroad, which I'm not going to specify in this video, but there is legal action being taken against the Long Island Railroad for discrimination. But anyway, let's talk about the. I'll talk about that maybe in another video. But right now, we're going to take a look at the radar and see what's going on with. Hurricane Dorian. So there is the rain shield right there offshore of us. Just a very cold, nasty day for us. Looks like some of the rain shield is getting into Cape Cod, however. And that is something to watch. But for our area, just a couple of showers. We did have a couple of showers around today. On a very, very cool day for our area. The high temperatures 62 degrees, northeast wind at 16 gusting to 23, and the high was only 60. It was actually 66 degrees, but the high didn't come during the day. The temperatures actually dropped during the day at Farmingdale, so it's very, very cool today across the island. Let's see what it is on the east end, a little closer to the hurricane. So northeast winds at 20, gusting to 30, and 63 degrees. Let's go a little further east because over in Cape, now we do have the coastal flood advisory and tropical storm warning for our offshore waters, and even some hurricane warnings way out offshore. But I want to see what the Cape is dealing with, because the Cape is obviously a little more in the rain band. So let's see, northeast at 13, gusting to 28, and rain. So worst of the wind is staying offshore for us right now. Let's get the latest from the National Hurricane Center in regards to Dorian. And just by the way, some people are probably experiencing an outage with Optimum. There's been another system-wide outage on Optimum. This is why I stay with Fios. Fios is not great, but you know what? It's better than Optimum. Optimum just goes down all the time. It's constant. So let's get the latest public advisory in Hurricane Dorian. Dorian is heading for Nova Scotia in a hurry. Hurricane force winds expected in the portions of Nova Scotia late Saturday, because it's gotten picked up by the jet stream. So as of 11 p.m., the center of Hurricane Dorian was located near latitude 38.3 north, longitude 70.2 west. Dorian is moving toward the northeast at now 25 miles an hour, and this general motion with some increase in forward speed is expected through Sunday. On the forecast track, the center of Dorian should pass to the southeast of extreme southeastern New England Saturday morning and then cross Nova Scotia late Saturday. Maximum sustained winds remain near 90 miles an hour with higher gusts. Only slight weakening is forecast, but it's expected to move over Nova Scotia with hurricane force winds. So hurricane force winds extend outward up to 80 miles from the center, and tropical storm force winds extend outward up to 230 miles. And the estimated minimum central pressure is 960 millibars. That's 28.35 inches, which is quite low. It's quite a low pressure for a storm this far north. But you can see how wrapped up it is and how strong it is on the models. But before we do that, let's look at the current storms and look at the latest satellite image for Dorian, which it looks like it's finally starting to lose its eye, finally starting to lose its definition now. It's starting to finally move over some cooler water. You can see the eye is gone now from the storm. We had an eye earlier. The eye is gone. So it is a sign that it is weakening, although it's probably going to remain a hurricane. It is weakening. You can see it getting out of our area in a hurry right now. So let's go back to the models and look at what we will expect for the rest of this weekend. And that's all I'm going to cover in this weather update. So here's Dorian. These are the GFS, and they're just moving right out. The worst of the winds, the areas where the tight isobars are mostly offshore, fortunately. So, fortunately, we're not experiencing. It's breezy. It's like a nor'easter, but it's not anything too bad. But unfortunately for Nova Scotia, they are going to get into the winds, and it looks like the GFS deepens this thing. So it's going to become some kind of post-tropical hybrid system. But folks in Nova Scotia could experience some really bad destruction. They've already gotten a lot of flooding in the Carolinas. In the Outer Banks, I've heard of flooding, and some areas are cut off. This is really bad for Nova Scotia. So it could be a bad disaster for Nova Scotia come later on Saturday when this thing hits. So let's take a look and see. You can see the kind of winds that they'll be dealing with. So looking at the winds, you'll see the worst of the winds are offshore, and the Cape might get into some of it Saturday morning. some tropical storm force winds, which is why there's a tropical storm force warning for there. But as far as Nova Scotia, they're going to get the hurricane, and that's the purple area there. So that's yep, that's not going to be good at all for them. And they're also going to be getting a lot of rain too. If we look at the rainfall amounts here, total. Well, we'll look at the 24-hour one. You will see. Look at those dark purple. So 6-7 inches of rain falling over Nova Scotia. As far as the Cape, they could get an inch or two. East end of Long Island may eke out with a half an inch. We haven't seen too much rain other than some showers over our area, but like I said, Nova Scotia is going to get hit very hard by this. So let's look at the dew points, because this kind of shows you where where everything is at. As far as you could clearly see, there's the storm and the higher dew points around it, and that's going all the way into Nova Scotia there on Saturday. You can see dew points up into the 60s, but for our area, we're going to have low dew points, only in the 50s, so it'll be very comfortable out. And same for Sunday, as we enjoy some nice low dew points, very comfortable temperatures. Let's look at the temperatures now. I mean, very comfortable dew points. So let's look at the temperatures now. And we go into Saturday, and we see the temperatures after a cool night. We'll rebound a little bit into the mid-70s, maybe near 80 in Toms River or parts of Jersey, but it should be fairly cool and comfortable. And then as we get into Sunday, remaining cool and comfortable, probably 75 to 80 degrees. So last thing, we'll look at the clouds and see how we're going to do with the sky. You clearly see the Dorian's cloud shield starts moving out of our area. It's going to stick around on Long Island a little more, I think, throughout the day. But New Jersey should be clear by mid-morning. And Long Island, western part of Long Island, probably clear out, and then the eastern part later on in the day. And then as we get into Sunday, we'll have some more high clouds around. So let me look at the NAM in regards to the clouds and the precipitation as well, and then we're going to wrap up this weather update. I don't want this being a long one. Yeah, we'll have some high clouds around Sunday. As far as tomorrow goes, Saturday, you see the same thing, clouds over Long Island giving way to clearing skies by afternoon. And then maybe some more clouds forming later in the afternoon maybe. But for the most part, should be a sunny day. So let's lastly look at the sunny and breezy day, of course. Not terribly windy, but there'll be a good breeze. You know, it'll be comfortable, make it feel comfortable. So let's look at the radar, and you'll see here maybe a little couple of showers early morning, and then they're out of here. As far as the Cape, I mean, the worst of it just misses us. We're very fortunate. Unfortunately for Nova Scotia, they're going to get hit quite hard. They may wind up being the hardest hit area on the entire East Coast, perhaps, because this thing makes a solid landfall onto it. So, well, I will check the power outage tracker and see what we have as far as power outages go across and mostly the highest amount is in North Carolina right now, and these are the areas that were hit hardest by the hurricane. Here, these eastern counties here. Dare County has almost a lot out, but this area was all inundated with water, I believe, as a result of the storm surge. There was a lot of flooding, unfortunately, and I hope most people evacuated like they were told to do, because these barrier islands, this is where it made landfall. That's where the eye wall went over. That's where the eye went over, right over Cape Hatteras. So hopefully they got out of there and didn't have to see and deal with the flooding and have to be rescued, because I've read that there are some people trapped in some parts of the Outer Banks. People should have evacuated. This is why you have to evacuate during these hurricanes. Can't take chances. Anyway, that does wrap up this weather update, and I want to thank you for watching. Have a good night.